Welcome back to the Change of Plans podcast. I'm Joe Aguirre along with Vin Provenzano. And Vin, we're doing this one remotely tonight.
Yes,
we had a little bit of the coves breaking out here, a couple of positive tests. Just so you know, I despite this camera looks terrible, I look sick. I did test negative, but yeah.
That boy, dude. Nothing can bring you down, bro. Like you're a legend.
Right? He's going my way.
Listen, I've had it a few times, so I'm a veteran of the COVID game. You know. Hold on one second. I'm trying to I don't want to be distracted, but I'm trying to get this
Yeah. You know what? You figure that out for a second, and I'll tell you a funny story. Because I got COVID only one time. I've only had COVID the one time. In May of 2022, my wife and I went to a wedding in Chicago, and it was a gay wedding. Couple of dudes, good guys, nice wedding. I talked to a ton of people there.
All right,
and I got to tell you, everybody I talked to, and I had lengthy conversations. Again, great people.
Yeah.
Every single one of these gay people I talked to, I kid you not, had COVID 4, 5, 6 times, all the variants. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm totally leaving here with COVID. Like, there's no doubt about it. This is COVID haven. And I got on the airplane 2 days later from Chicago back to Connecticut. And as soon as I got on the airplane, I was like, I'm going to go home and test positive for COVID. I know it. And by the time I got home, I definitely wasn't feeling good, had a headache, tested positive. It's all about where you go. That's really, it's funny too. I don't know. I think I told you this story. This morning, I had some guests on the radio show, and I shook a whole bunch of people's hands. And I literally thought to myself, COVID's over.
We don't got to worry about it.
I'm going to shake your hand. I'm going to go eat something. I'm not even thinking twice about it anymore. You know what I mean? All day, I'm like rubbing my beard. It's all back to normal.
Nope. You thought it was, but it's
not. It was, yeah. The constant reminder that this thing will be with us probably forever.
I had the first time I had COVID, I remember we were having like a Christmas party. No, the second time. The first time I had it, people didn't even know what COVID was. And I had someone working for me at the time, and she brought her kids in because they were home from school because they had COVID. So I'm like looking around the office. They're crawling all over everything. So I go to the party and I'm fine. And it's like someone smacked me in my face, and I'm like, fuck, I got COVID. Like I knew exactly, it was like 11:06. I looked at my clock and I'm like, fuck, I got COVID. I felt like immediate dick, and I was so mad because of these fucking rugrats, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, but no one's scared anymore. Although I did have an attorney last week. She posted on Facebook. She's like, I got COVID for the 7th time. And then she's in court like 5 minutes later. I'm like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I feel like this is the other thing. Nobody honors the quarantine and don't come to work with that's out the window too. No, you know what I mean? I'll tell you right now, in the last 6 months, I've had multiple occasions where I've gotten a phone call from somebody and they're like, hey, just wanted to give you a heads up. I've been laid up for a couple days now. I have COVID. And you're like, I saw you yesterday. Are you serious? What?
Yeah,
we split a sandwich. Oh, geez. And then every time, I mean, I'll say this because I know this vaccine is a little controversial. Get it. Just get it.
Just do it.
I don't know why you're not doing it.
I don't. They're like, well, it's brand new. Well, medicine's got to be brand new at some point. During the life of medicine, it's going to be new.
You know who said that during the Great Polio Scare? The people who died from polio.
Yeah, we're not getting it. Word.
Man, it's my body, my choice. And then you get polio. You don't want that.
Yeah, I was never one of those. I was like, give me all the drugs, like all of it.
Yeah.
And nothing, I'm not gonna grow a horn.
I'll take the you're a sheeple, you trust the science. If you're going to trust anybody, scientists seems like
Um,
person you can trust.
that's a strong. So I have a cousin and he's like a doomsday prepper, right? Like he's wild. He's like a born again doomsday prepper, double dose of crazy, right? And he got so mad. He's like, "Well, they don't give me the ingredients of the vaccine." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, I want to know what's in it. Like, I need the ingredients." And I'm like, why are you a doctor? Like, one, you're not gonna be able to pronounce any of the ingredients, and two, what
Right.
difference does it make? Like, so I gave him like a can of soda, and I was like, "Could you correctly pronounce just the ingredients on a can of soda?" And then he told me I was going to hell, and everything else that went wild after that. But yeah, that
Yeah.
was like, you don't know what's in it. Like, what do you think they're giving you? Windex? Like, like I just
Right.
didn't understand the conspiracy theory of they're just giving you diluted water. Like I don't think that's the case. I don't think if you got like people in the military like handing out medicine, it's water. But I don't know. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole today because we might get some angry people on Facebook. It looks a little quiet out there, but it's fine. How's everyone doing? Welcome. We did miss a week too, Joe. I did get some complaints about that, but we're back. But we missed a week. Oh, there's
These
my boy
damn kids
Ryan.
are back. Yeah, it's funny. Boy, first of all, where did July go? That was the fastest month. I mean, it was like 4th of July 5 days ago. What is even happening? July 30. I don't even understand.
Yeah, I got to ask you something about the 4th of July. How do you feel about fireworks after the 4th of July?
You know what? I've had this conversation with a couple of people in real life.
Yeah, no, I just
And
had this conversation like the other day. So I
did you really? That's hilarious. I actually think I was talking to somebody about it this morning, even. Here's why you can't. It would be nice to do all the fireworks right on the 4th, and especially I know the dog people and the military people are especially sensitive, and I totally get that. I really do. That said, if you do all the fireworks on the 4th, you're gonna miss most of the fireworks.
That's fine. Like I don't like
Okay.
I'm not a fireworks guy, so like I really don't. I could care less if there was ever another firework in the world. But what I can't, and this is how I know I'm getting old, because I get irate if I hear something whistling through the air, like, and you're just waiting for the pop, and like I want to call the cops, Joe. I'm 1 year away. I'm one more summer away from being of the age where I'm just going to call the cops and complain on everybody. That's it. I can't deal with it. Like, and it's the dog thing. It's 100% the dog thing. But then I'm like, it's not fun anymore. And I'm not a big July 4th guy for fireworks. It's not. I don't want anyone getting mad because I don't love my country, because I don't love July 4th. But I'm not a big fireworks guy. It's not fun to me. You seem like the kind of guy who likes fireworks, though.
Listen, I wouldn't say I like fireworks. I'm not opposed to fireworks. My wife went and bought some of the store kind of fireworks,
Mm.
and she lit one off in the front yard. She burned her hand and set the lawn on fire, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, so my wife's cousin's boyfriend does a huge show. So he did, like, at least he put on a legit show. Like it was like I thought I was in Ukraine. Like, it was fucking wild. It was, the ground
Wow.
was shaking. Yeah, he tapes everything off. So that was pretty cool. But I'm definitely like, July 5th, go throw your firecrackers out. I don't want to hear shit. I don't want to hear anything from you ever again until next
Yeah.
July.
All right. No, I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah, but yes, this month did fly by. I feel like this summer is it's an odd summer for me, because usually I'm like running around with baseball and stuff. I don't have that this year. So like, but it's been oddly busy. But we're trying to plan a trip in October. So I got like a 5-day window. And so me and my wife are we can't agree on a place because she likes the beach. I hate the fucking beach. So I'm looking
Right.
for suggestions out there to our fan base. Like if anyone
Around
has
the
any,
holidays, you guys went to Jamaica, so she
we
got
did.
hers. She got
Yeah,
hers.
yeah.
Is this you get to you maybe get to steer this one a little bit or a little extra sway?
No, I give in a lot, Joe. Like I don't, I'm thinking about like Austin, right? Because you get the heat, right? But I don't gotta sit on a beach, right? So she could be hot and she could go hang out at the pool and I could go hang out in Austin. I don't know. I'm not much of a vacation guy. So like I'm always looking for places to go because I don't like vacations normally either. No fireworks and no vacations. It's not my cup of tea.
No, that's totally understandable. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, no. But what'd you do last week since we missed each other? We were just so
Oh
busy.
man. Oh yeah, last weekend I was at a barbecue. I hosted a big barbecue at Two Roads Brewing in Stratford. That was pretty wild.
Thanks for the invite.
Uh yeah. You
Nice.
wouldn't have liked it. You wouldn't have liked it. There was fireworks.
Barbecue doesn't sound like fun. No,
Yeah.
no one likes barbecue. It's nice.
It was a long ride, like 50-minute ride all the way out there,
Yeah,
Stratford.
my
You
car
wouldn't have.
my car only goes 45 minutes. And just
See?
the fuck
It
off.
wouldn't have worked out. But it was nice. It was a nice time.
That's all right. I flipped the golf cart, so I couldn't walk for like a week.
What? Where were you playing?
Portland, like when I say I flipped it over, it cost me $2,800
No kidding.
at my kid's baseball tournament.
Oh no.
Yeah,
what were you what were you doing? What were you doing?
Dom Toretto. I was just driving too fast, dude. Took a turn and like literally flipped it over. It landed on its roof and snapped the roof in half. And I had this guy I do like mortgages with, my buddy Russ, and he's like 50. And all of a sudden, it's like slow-mo. I see him going over my right shoulder, like just straight Superman. And he's like, "Don't worry, I'm okay. I know how to fall." And I'm like,
okay.
"That's how you know you're old, right?" Like that's another sign. Besides hating fireworks after the 4th, is when someone falls down and they're like, "It's okay. I know how to fall properly." That's how you know you're an old man, right? Like
that's
you're like,
not good.
These kids, they don't know how to fall these days, but we were taught how to fall when I was a kid, which just means you got pushed down a lot by your parents.
Yeah, I fell out of a tree about 30 feet when I was a kid, and I landed on my feet, and I just got up and kept going. We were built different back then.
we were like, when you were a kid, you would just jump on like a Huffy, right, and just go down the biggest hill you could find. Like the bike's shaking, you're about to die. Like, bro, I don't even take the stairs anymore. Like, if there's an elevator and it's a half a floor, I'm going on the elevator. I'm not risking.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I remember I popped a wheelie once on my brother's bike, only to find out that the front wheel was not securely on the bike, and landed face first into the pavement. That was great.
I passed out. Well, I didn't pass out. I fell off my bike and I was out for 45 minutes and no one came to look for me. Like nobody. Like zero people. Like I showed up like my eyes like out of my socket basically. It was ridiculous. And my mom was like, looks like you took a spill, kid. Here's an aloe plant. Just rub some aloe on it. That was the remedy back in the day, is the aloe plant.
Oh yeah. I was more of a dirt guy, but got the job done.
That's nice. Just maximize your infection, strengthen your immune system, and
I really believe that. It's funny, when I was a kid, there were a couple of things I enjoyed. I liked to put pennies in my mouth. And the other thing I used to put in my mouth was sand.
Bro, you got to go to therapy.
You know why?
Why?
My body was craving iron. Both of those things have iron in them. My body knew how to self-correct for an iron deficiency.
Like, I don't know how you had friends, because if I was in school and there's a kid walking around with a mouthful of pennies, you're the last person I'm talking to at school.
We all ate the pennies.
I was not a penny guy. Although
I
I
was
used
kind
to
of the
like,
ringleader on that.
I used to like the batteries, and like you zap yourself with them, like to see if they still had fucking charge.
Yeah.
This is really going off the rails today. This podcast. See what happens when you
Yeah.
don't
I'm
have a
telling you, you guys have, if you've ever put sand or licked sand or eaten or licked pennies when you were a kid, it's because your body was telling you you needed iron.
no. You needed to be in that special hallway in the school.
Probably. Same thing with milk. You know what I had earlier today? And it was the first time I've had it all year. Milk. I had milk. I had it with some cookies, but I had a glass of milk. My body was like, you know what? Get the calcium flow up.
You're an odd man. I do miss milk. I can't have milk. I'll shit myself.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Like, people are like, just have almond milk. It's not the same. Oat milk is okay. I could do some oat milk. But no, I didn't have any. I didn't put any weird shit in my mouth as a kid. Pause.
I guess some kids licked ice cream and popsicles. Not me. Not me.
Oh, yeah, no, you couldn't. You always had that one friend who ate like a ice cream or a popsicle real weird though. Like that, there was just always that one kid at recess. Just like, dude, we had this one kid. I felt so. I didn't feel bad at the time. He used to do that shit. This kid Josh, like big redheaded kid, just a target of everyone's bullying. And it's just watch him watch an ice cream. I still eat an ice cream. I still have nightmares about it. Just weird.
That's hilarious.
Weird. Yeah, that's like the one thing like I would shy away from at lunch. Like, I would never get a hot dog, popsicles, and ice cream. Like, I just couldn't do that in public.
No, that makes sense.
It's just I wasn't mature back then, but I'm good now. I'll eat all three in public and not even think twice about it. Crush some glizzy. So what else is going on in the world of Joe?
Man, I'll tell you a great story. I brought my kid to work with me the other day.
Mm-hmm.
A little daddy-daughter time. I went up there, had to give away a prize.
Yep.
And so we go up. This is going to be a short trip. This will be a short story. I say to the kid, listen, here, you get on your iPad, and we're going to be here for like 15 minutes, and we're going to split. And I told her we would go shopping. We would go to Stop and Shop to get tuna and Italian bread. So she wanted a tuna grinder. Go to the radio station. We do our thing. Finish up. I'm like, all right, let's go. We start walking out of the studio. I stop at the studio next to mine to say goodnight to one of my buddies. Have a brief exchange with him. Start walking up the hallway. Call out my daughter's name. No response. So I walk around the building. There's a few people in their offices, and I'm like, did you see a little girl walk by here? Nobody's seen her. All the way around the building, and now I'm like freaking out, and I'm like, this is a Blue Hills Avenue in Bloomfield. It's like a busy road. So I'm like, did she go outside? So I run outside, and there's nothing but road, and now she's got like a 2-minute head start on me. So I start running down the street, and I'm calling out her name. All of my coworkers are walking around the parking lot and in the building and calling out her name. She was in the back seat of the car, waiting to go to Stop and Shop. No idea that she was missing. First of all, when you lose your, have you ever? You haven't had this experience, man.
No, I mean, if I lost Jess at 12, like, he could figure it out. I was good.
Yeah. All right. When you lose a kid, and it could be for 30 seconds, it could be for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It is like it's a weird feeling because you're like, do I call the cops? She's been missing for 30 seconds. Do I call my wife and say, hey, brought the kid to work, totally lost her? You don't even know what to do in that situation. It's like this weird freak out panicky thing that happens. And I've had that now a good dozen times in my life where literally you lose the kid for like a minute and it's like, oh my God, you know?
Well, my buddy Matt, he just had a baby. So the baby's like, I mean, like last week, like fresh out the box. So this is like one of my best friends that we went through the divorce together. So like, we're both, so he finally found someone to have a baby with. I couldn't do that. So, I was just, I guess no one ever wanted to have a baby with me, but that's a whole nother podcast. So,
Yeah.
but he is nervous about everything, bro, just in life in general, just eats Tums and pops Imodium like it's his job, bro. He's just anxiety fucking ridden. So the funniest thing is to watch this dude around his kid because he's like full panic mode the whole time. So I'm holding the baby and I'm not like, I am not good with babies. Babies cry when they see me. I'm bald. I look like a giant fucking baby. I think I just give weird baby vibes and I'm doing good, but the baby starts crying. And, most people start panicking like when the kid cries. And I'm just staring this fucker down. I'm like, this is how you do it, dude. I was like, you could cry all day. I'm just going to stare at you. You're going to learn today that crying's not getting you anywhere with Uncle Vin. And my buddy's like, what are you, a sociopath? And I'm like, I think that's what you got to do, though. That's that new parenting technique. Like, you don't give in, you just stare them down. Because eventually they're going to tire out, I think.
Where did you read this?
I actually I developed a technique live, like at that point.
Got it.
It was no, I was super happy for him. But yeah, babies weird me out, man. Like they I don't like them at all. Like they're just they're just looking at you and you don't know what they're thinking. You can't have a conversation. It's just too weird. I need to come in at like 12, like what I did with my stepson. Like that's the money age for me. Anything other than that, it gets a little hairy. I can't. I'm good. I don't know how people do it. I thought I lost my child in the aquarium.
I had a similar experience at Mystic Aquarium. I literally had to bring the staff in with the walkie-talkies to find my kid one time. Not good. It's not a good feeling. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I don't think I remember like
listen, your buddy wants you to babysit Jackson here. He thinks
bro,
you learned some things.
Dude, I got Jax on lock. He knows. My boy Ryan. He knows. Uncle V's in the house, dude. I don't give in, man. I'm like, I'm a sergeant, dude. We just kids cry, yell, I'll just stare at them. They're gonna learn, man. Give me Jackson for a weekend. I'll shape him up. He'll be working next week.
What does the stare look like? What is the how would that go?
It's just an empty stare.
Just a cold.
Yeah, no reaction, bro. That's what my mom did to me. I remember right out of the womb, she just stared at me, smoking cigarettes in my face. My mom was wild.
I think that's the other place we went wrong in society, not having people blow smoke in your face.
My mom loves the story how she just smoked full term with me. Like she was smoking on the way to the hospital, but that's why I'm strong now, dude. That's why I can hold my breath for 15 seconds underwater. that is it. Oh man, but yeah, so I'm super stoked. I think it's always fun for me to watch like my friends have like kids, right? Like a lot of my friends are younger than me, so they're having babies and they're going through that now. And I don't know how people do it. Like I think the annoying thing for me is getting invited to these fucking kid parties. That's the worst part about having young friends. Like I go and it's like a bunch of 4-year-olds screaming their face off, like, and a bunch of parents who are just drinking and miserable. And I'm just laughing to my like I can't do it. But even like so my stepson had done this quarterback camp and he has like all ages from like 7 to like 13. And he's great with the younger kids. Like they're horsing around, they're busting his ass. No one's paying attention. And I went to the first one and I couldn't go back. I was like, there's no way. I would just be yoking up all these kids and just be like, get in line, So I give you parents a lot of credit, I mean, I was that kid who used to run from his parents in the store. Like, and then my mom wouldn't even look for me. She would just wait. Because the ass kicking's coming. So like we'd be in cow doors. All that ass. And then and I'm like, oh, my mom's gonna look for me. And then it's just crickets. And she's just standing out near the door. She's like, you got to come out of this store at some point. And then it was just, and that's how you learn. You don't go looking for them, right? That's another lesson, parents. If you lose your kid, don't go looking. They'll find you. And then you remind them why they shouldn't do that again. It's advice from a lawyer.
Yeah, that's good. That's good advice.
Like that, and then call me
Yeah.
after your DF raids your house.
It definitely, yeah. When DCF shows up, call Vin.
Call me.
Oh,
But yeah,
jeez.
my stepson got to work with me the other day, so I got a flat tire again. I get him like crazy. It's like I think it's in my 4th flat on this car. And so he had to give me a ride to court. Of course, he was late picking me up because he was at Cabela's shopping. So that's why he was late picking me up to bring me to court. So I threatened to spank him in front of everybody in the office. So that might have been against some HR policies. So he's like, yeah, possibly, right? So like, I'm like, he's my chauffeur, right? So I go outside, it's raining, and he parks at the farthest fucking spot from the door he can. So then I'm mad. I'm like, what kind of driver are you? I'm getting soaked. I get in his car, and it's just disgusting, bro. Like, there's a fishing pole I'm sitting on. I'm in a suit. Like, there's like a random propane tank in the back fucking seat and a million water bottles. And this kid's just eating Chick-fil-A. Like, where am I going to take you? And I'm like, the life you have, dude. Like, if I wanted to, you need to dress up like a chauffeur from now on. And then, he doesn't work for me anymore. He didn't like my talking to with him, but it was a good time. Spent some quality time. And now I'm here, just changing lives, getting yelled at every day by all my clients.
Oh, geez. Lose your child now, and who knows what can happen. That's a nice, that could be a t-shirt.
Yeah, dude. Wow. That's
also a t-shirt.
This is really getting dark. That mini we talked about last time is going to come up and snag your kid. You ever watch those videos of like people just walk into stores and grab kids, dude, and they just like walk out with them?
Yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah, I think that's always happened. No, it's funny. We talk about how remember that we talk about the meme about the people in the 70s.
Yeah,
everybody at the beach was like sexy, and it's like, well, yeah, we fat shame the fat people. People are like, yo, we used to hitchhike in the 70s and 80s and nothing happened. And it's like, that's where the fucking serial killers started. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but we do that now, bro. We get in Ubers and Lyfts. Like, it's just fancy hitchhiking. Like you're just getting in the car with a bunch of randos. I do it all the time. I hate fucking driving. Like, I Uber to Middletown, and it's 7 minutes from my house. Like, I don't like to have to park. But, every time I got in a car with a lady the other day, her eyelashes had to be, 1.5 feet long. Right? Like, painted eyebrows.
I hate that.
But she was the worst driver. Like, she just pulled out my road, and I'm just watching this minivan coming full bore after us, and she's just whistling Dixie like, hey, the only car out here. She was a maniac. But every time I get in an Uber, it's usually 1 out of every 2 Ubers they're fucking nuts.
I've never had a quality Uber driver, and I'll tell you right now, you want to talk about dangerous, and I don't want to throw Uber or any specific, but I've read enough stories of drivers raping women that I don't know, dude. It just seems like a terrible idea to get into a car with a stranger. Absolutely. Their car, no less.
Absolutely not. If you are a woman, you do not get a fucking Uber by yourself. You know how many people I represent are fucking, they pass out on meth and they're Uber drivers while they're driving?
Sounds like a real problem for Uber, yeah.
Or Lyft or anybody. For that matter.
We should make a commercial for you. It'll go. Did you get busted smoking meth while driving an Uber? Call Vin.
But then I was thinking, I was in an Uber and I'm like, maybe I should do this just for fun. I would love to be I'd be a dope Uber driver.
I got a buddy who does that for fun
Yeah.
sometimes, just for the stories.
But it's like Taxi Cab Confessions in 2024, right?
Yeah.
Remember that show? You're just picking up hammered people, and it was the funniest thing fucking ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think I might do that someday. Just like I'll be like Uber Black because I got a nice car, right? So we could do it.
Yeah, dude, that would be free I'm saying, right? The clientele would be a next level sort of
Yeah.
experience too.
Like it goes along. I had a guy ask me the other day, like, because everyone always asks, they're like, "What would you do differently if you could do it all over again?" Right? Like they're like, "Would you be a lawyer? Like, what would you do?" And like in my list, like the last thing I would ever do is be a lawyer. I never think back, and I'm like, you know what? If I could do it all over again, what would I do differently? I definitely, I don't know if I'd be a lawyer, but then it goes to the question, which I thought was interesting. Would you want to go back, like say you're like 21 again, but you know everything you know now, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that is interesting.
I don't know if I'd want that, right? Like, I don't know. I think that is, I don't think I would, like, right? Because I think the fun part of life is like living through life, like trials, tribulations, the good and the bad. Um, but so I don't think I would want to know what I know now. But I think what I would do differently, I'd probably enjoy it more. Like I think I would enjoy the journey more than I did. Right? Like cuz I had to go to college, I was working through college. I was like work, 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 get a job, get a better job, go to school, get a better job instead of just like enjoying being in your 20s. Like and I had a fucking good time, but I was always looking for the next thing. Um so that's probably what I would do differently is just take more time. Like if I knew what I knew now and I was 21 again, I think what I would probably tell myself would be like my past self is to take your time in life, right? Like if you're going to talk to yourself in the past, like what would be the thing you tell yourself like 21-year-old Joe? Like if you knew what you knew now.
Oh boy. Yeah, I would there's a lot I would tell that guy. I would tell him, and I would tip him off too. It's going to be like 5 or 6 years before you get your head out of your ass. I think that would have been good to know. Um, but yeah, no, I think it would have just been buckled down and focus. And listen, at the end of the day, too, I remember just I really didn't know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to be. I had no idea, you know. I think when I was in college, even though I was no longer playing baseball, I still a little bit thought I could end up with the New York Yankees.
Yeah. So would you go back and tell yourself like, hey, you are not going to end up on the Yankees?
No, yeah, again, I would be like, you know what? You got to figure it out. I don't know what I thought I don't know what I thought was going to happen. Like I hadn't given up on that dream. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
But
I
you
wanted to do something
legitimately like
cool.
yeah, like I definitely gave up the professional like sports aspect pretty quick in my life.
Yeah.
Like so like say if you're like on a beach now and you put one of those fucking messages in a bottle, right? You throw it out in the ocean and that bottle's gonna find you at 21. Is your message gonna be like, hey, you're not gonna play for the Yankees, so get your shit together?
Yeah. That's not that yeah, that might be
That's a good start.
the note I need. Yeah.
That-
Bro, it's over. Give it up.
but
They're
that's
Yankees
awesome.
are never calling you. It's not happening. And I didn't
But
know that.
But the fact that like that would be your message is awesome, and like I'm completely jealous of it because like when I was like 21, like yes, I was having fun, but I'm like I got 3 jobs. I'm like I got to do this, 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 and this, and this. And there's Joe just loving life, being like maybe I'll be the next shortstop for the Yankees. Like
Yes.
that's like I wish I I wish I had that. That's
It was
hilarious.
upsetting when I realized it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah, that's I bet. Must have been a real shocker.
That wasn't a shocker, but I did have to come to terms with it. Like, oh man, that's
Yeah.
probably not going to happen now. I wonder what I can, because I wanted to do. I wanted to have a cool job,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
No.
shortstop for the Yankees seemed like pretty high up there.
And so, well, like, were you so like when you're that age, were you more focused on a cool job or the monetary side of it, where like I just need to go make money?
So I lived with my parents like on and off, and college all throughout that time.
Yeah.
And my grandfather lived with us. So, I mean, I had money when I needed it at all times. So that wasn't really a driving factor. I didn't want to work a sucky job.
Yeah.
That I knew. And my work ethic at crappy retail jobs I had at the time was indicative of the idea that there's something greater for this guy. Major League Baseball's out the window, too short for the NBA. So what are we doing,
Yeah. I don't think I definitely wasn't looking for like I don't want a sucky job. I would have sold crack. Like I didn't care. Like I needed to get out of my parents' basement. Like, and I was just, I took every shitty job.
When I was 24, I moved into my parents' basement.
Yeah, like I think I was in my parents' basement. Mind you, I didn't even have it like a finished floor, right? So like when I'm talking about like a basement, it was a basement. Like there was a furnace, like a oil tank in my fucking bedroom. I remember we had this old like refrigerator and the Freon just spilled out of it, like just all over my room. And my dad's like, "Oh, I cleaned it up. Don't worry about it. You're good." Like, and I'm like, "Thanks, pops." Right? Like, so
there's a class action lawsuit you could probably join for cleaning that up.
it was just wild. But I think if I had to send a message to my like younger self, it's definitely enjoy it more, right? Like I don't because I this is what I had this conversation with my wife the other day because the kid had his camp he started, but he's actually doesn't have like a 9 to 5 job like some of his friends. But it's his first summer that he's like, this has been my best summer. He's got to be a kid. And I told my wife, I was like, he doesn't need to work 9 to 5 now. Like he's gonna have his whole life to grind, right? Like just because your kid is grinding at Walmart at 17 is not going to necessarily change his life when he's 40. So let him enjoy the time he has. And I think that's where I'm getting at. Like when I talk to my wife, it's kind of speaking from experience where, we grew up, she had a bunch of jobs. I know you were probably working, I was working, and, but there's something to be said for, especially now when kids don't socialize as much, is to give them the opportunity to do it. So not that I'm trying to like live my younger life through the kid, but I think as parents or like just, adult figures in general, you have to be able to, look back at your experience and then, not just say, well, go do this because I did it. Like also realize like, hey, just because I did it, it may not be the best thing. And I know me and my wife had a pretty big conversation about that the other night. But like I think I look back and it's not like, well, because I worked all these jobs that made me who I am today. No, like I fucking worked at like 17, 18, 19 and all throughout. So but it's like a random conversation I had in the gym about that. And then it was weird because I had like 3 separate conversations, and it was like one was, okay, what would you tell your past self? And then I was listening to another podcast and I was talking to a buddy of mine, and what would be the message you give to your present self? Right? Like, so say, like, kind of the same thing. Say you're in the future, but like today, like, what would that message to you say? Like, what would your message be to yourself, like today?
Wow, it would be great job, dude. You really killed it.
Yeah, I love it because that was going to be mine.
Ah, really?
Yeah, yeah, like I think, and it's okay to say that, right? Like I think that's, I knew you were going to say that because that's just That's just Joe. Joe's lived a touched life. It's a jolly Saint Joe over there.
Well, don't think I haven't overcome some adversity.
You did work at Walmart. I know.
I
I
did.
heard the
It
story.
was
No, but that adversity adds to it, right? But that's why you're able to say here today, be like, my life's fucking awesome, right? Like, and it's
yeah.
not. It's not. We're not saying our lives are perfect because no one has that perfect life, but like life is pretty dope, right? Like, and the fact that you can sit here and say that is awesome, right? Like that.
Well, and again, you know what I have to say, and I, you made me tell the story some episodes ago, but the people at that Walmart
Yeah.
were extremely supportive of me pursuing the goal that I eventually achieved.
Yep.
And that's not lost on me that those folks covered for me and made it possible for me.
Yeah.
Where many other people, there could have been other people in my shoes working part-time jobs where they weren't as flexible, like, oh, the radio station needs you, go right now. That was the situation. I got very lucky with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, certainly a charmed, privileged kind of life, but
no, you have your. I mean, you're gonna have your ups and fucking downs, dude. Like, but I try to look at, like, I will admit today I got home. It's fucking pouring rain out. My dog doesn't want to get out of my car, and I'm just. Oh, it's Ryan got to put Jackson to bed. That's a good fucking dad right there.
right.
Top notch. But I get in the house and I'm just fucking raging. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm swearing up and down. I'm like, I hate my life, blah, 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 stomping around like an ogre. And then I just leave the house again. And then I get in my car and I just immediately feel like an asshat. Right? Like that's my biggest problem is I had to walk, from my nice car to my nice house in the fucking rain. Right? Like, it was just like, those are the moments that, you try to reassess, like, and then doing the podcast and like just having this conversation, like, you think about it, right? Like this is why we have these conversations, is like, oh, you know what? Like, that's not that big of a deal. Because we can sit here and say today, listen, our life is awesome. Right. Like, I think that's what I try to focus on. It doesn't always work. And I do feel bad because I think, I get home and like my wife gets the shit end of the stick sometimes because I'm just spent, right? But then once you talk it out, like, I think as men and just people in general, you have these conversations, you learn to appreciate stuff a little bit more.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that's hilarious. So what would you tell your future self? Like, 2040 Joe, if you're still alive.
I would tell him this. Listen, really get a look at the license plate before you open the car door. That's for starters. And I think the other big thing would be, I would say take some chances.
Yeah.
Be a gambler. Not with your money necessarily, but sometimes you just gotta really go for it. I think I've been very measured in what I've done, and I've achieved like moderate success.
Yep.
Relatively speaking, I've done well for the market that I work in, but there certainly could have been and may still be better opportunities in the future.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've been doing for the last year, I've been calling amateur boxing fights.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty dope. I love boxing.
It's oh my God. I'm doing another one August 17th at Coventry High School, Scrub Scraps. There's like 14 or 15 amateur fights, and I love boxing. And as a broadcaster, I would love the opportunity, whether it be Fox or HBO or whomever.
Showtime.
Yeah, Showtime. I would love an opportunity in my lifetime to call a real professional fight. And my wife gets all bent at me because I do it for like not a lot of money because I'm connected to the organization, but it's an opportunity I've been able to create for myself with the idea that, if I get good at this, the right people see it, opportunity could come knocking. And so, I continue to strive to do better. I would say the message I would give myself, don't be content.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a good one, right? Like I think the everyone we've had this discussion, you want a better life, but you're doing the same shit all the time. And
Yeah.
it's hard not to be content when you're in a good spot, right? Like when you're in that groove, you're in your comfort zone, bills are getting paid, everyone's happy and healthy, you're confident in your career, and you're like, well, why would I take a step outside my lane? And I think that's what I would probably tell my future self. I think we're pretty aligned in that aspect is that I'm a guy who has a ton of ideas and I don't necessarily take the step. So I think I'd tell my future self it's okay to take the step. I think, and being I think being okay, and it's not with failure, it's being okay with swinging and missing, but take another swing. I think that's my biggest like that's what holds me back is if something doesn't work out, am I going to do it again? Am I going to get up the next day and do it again? I heard a Kobe Bryant quote the other day about pressure, and he's like, "I don't feel pressure. There's no such thing as pressure because you got to do it, regardless if you succeed or fail. You still have to go and do it, and then when you wake up in the morning, you got to do it again. So the
Yep.
pressure, you're just creating your own. Like that pressure is self inflicted. So I think me telling my future self, like, hey, take that swing. It's okay if you miss and take another one. Go do it. And I think probably the other thing of which we've talked about a ton is just don't take your time for granted, right? Like smell the flowers, take that time out, take that extra 5 minutes. And that's something I have to constantly like remind myself on a daily basis. Even when I'm having conversations with people, it's just like sometimes I feel like I'm just in a rush. I'm like, dude, just get to the end of the conversation. I got to get to the next one, and just to slow down a bit, because I think I want to be able to when I'm done, being like, you know what, like I don't have regrets, and I loved my life, right? Like the good and the bad, the beautiful and the ugly. Like I loved it all, and I don't want to have any regrets. So I think that's probably what I'd tell my future self.
That's solid. Yeah.
You know.
Again, I think that's really important stuff and a great message to yourself.
Yeah, dude, maybe write little messages. I started doing I don't know if I told you this. I started doing I write my wins for the day and what I want for my wins for tomorrow just before I go to bed at night. So I was pretty good with doing it every night and I got to get back on it, but I thought that really helped me keep like a positive perspective of life, right? Like
Yeah.
even if like I set a goal and I didn't hit it, but I gave it a shot, right? Or maybe I accomplished something else, but not that one. So you still have the win at the end of the day, but it's those little wins that really like add up, right? Like instead of you're always looking for that one big win, I'd rather have a full bucket of little wins than just one big prize at the end of the day. I want all the little prizes. So I started doing that. I think that helps keep my mind in a perspective of, hey, you're always going to have wins. Every day you could have a win. It's just a matter of you looking for it and flipping that perspective.
Yeah, well, I think accountability and keeping yourself accountable and by tracking what you're doing, I think you're certainly putting yourself in a better situation to find success. That's what it's all about. Again, listen, I'm a to-do list kind of guy. I have
Yeah.
to write everything down. I probably should write down my wins. That would be nice, but I accomplish a lot, and I enjoy, crossing off the list as I go and knowing that I've achieved. And, there's days where I overextend myself and,
Yep.
you finish a to-do list on that day and you're like, yeah, dude, look at that.
You like crush it. Well, I think also for you, like writing it down is like, especially if you're like a list guy and you got a million things going on in your life, right? Like you got podcasts, radio, kids, like you're going 100 miles an hour. And I'm sure you have days where it's like, you get to the end of the day, you're like, man, I didn't get what I wanted to get done, right? Like I didn't accomplish what I was supposed to accomplish. But if you wrote down what your wins were, you're gonna be like, holy shit, I got a lot done today. Maybe
Yep.
I didn't get all of it done, but like instead of saying, well, I got to go to bed, I can't shut my brain off because I didn't get everything accomplished. If you flip and say, well, I got all this stuff accomplished, I think for me, like going, like I have a problem shut my brain off, like especially at night, right? Like I got to be better at like preparing to go to bed because my mind is going 100 miles an hour and it's probably like yours. And I think creating that list for me helps me like shut down my brain, being like, okay, I got through today. I got this stuff accomplished. It's almost like giving my body, my brain permission to just say, hey, you know what? You're good. And I think that's, especially to-do list people, like people who are checking it off. Because like if you're doing a mental checklist, you might have hit all your marks, but you don't even know. So, but I know that helps me because I'm like you. I got a million things I'm doing in one shot. I mean, we both probably bite off more than we could chew, and we're two type of people that just take on more, right?
Yep.
Like it says, me and my wife were talking about the other day, and she said that to me. She's like, you don't take less, you keep taking on more. Like it's almost like we operate better in chaos. Like I don't like quiet. I don't like that peace, even though like I really work towards peace. Like I run towards chaos. Like, and I don't know why, but me being organized and writing those things down helps me kind of, maneuver through that a little bit as much as I can anyways.
Yeah. Again, I like the sense of accomplishment, and it does. It feels like you're measuring, and listen, I think at the end of the day, in order to fall asleep, when I cleared the plate,
Yep.
sleep like a baby, with the anticipation of what's to come for tomorrow, as opposed to putting something off and then, struggling to sleep thinking, all right, tomorrow I got to do this. I'm going to squeeze this thing in there, and,
Yep.
I'll have 5 minutes. Maybe I can grab something to eat and go right to the, like those are the kinds of, those are not good days and nights.
Correct.
So
Yeah, it's
accountability.
and I think the accountability factor, like going back to holding yourself accountable, for me, I tend to find habits that really work for me, and then I'm like, oh, they work, and then I don't do them again. Like I am like that guy to a T. To tell like my future self is like, hey, find the habits that work and continue those habits, because I am the worst with that. I'm like, oh, I got all these cool tools. I got this, cool tool belt that I can wear around, but I never pull the tools out. And then I
Yeah.
go tell everyone to use the tools. Right? I'm the king of that. I could tell you how to use every tool in the tool belt, but then you go look in the mirror and you're like, I got to do that myself. I had a consultation with a couple of divorce clients this week, and I tell them that like I did when I went through my divorce, I did everything I tell my clients not to do. I like everything. Like you go through the checklist, I did it all. But I think it also helped me empathize with my clients more. So like, I know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But it's even then, I mean, I do hundreds of divorces a year, and I have the tools to navigate that. But when I was dealing with it myself, I put that tool belt in a fucking attic somewhere. So I think us as people, we tend to do that, and we're good at helping everybody else, but it's helping ourselves. That's it's really what you need to do first before you help anybody else.
Yeah. Well, see, I like this. I think this turned out to be a pretty dang good episode.
Hey, listen. Everyone gets a little bit of everything. We didn't even talk about JD Vance yet. We could do that on the next podcast.
Oh my God. I have so many jokes about that guy.
Oh my God. This guy, well, fuck it. We did our serious shit. We're going back to real life fun stuff. So I was in the gym, and I love this shit. So there's always that person that walks in with a Trump t-shirt. Like, and I like the guy. He's a good dude. But like, it's just the Superman chest is out. It's the most obnoxious. Even if you're a Trump supporter, like you're only wearing the t-shirt to piss people off. That's the hilarious thing. And then when you say something, they go wild on you. Like, how dare you? Like, I'm like, you're wearing the shirt for a reason. Right. So, he's walking around lifting weights, and, so I just started mocking JD Vance because it's hilarious. I'm like, bro, I was like, heard the guy has sex with couches. Guy loses his mind. But I just always find it funny, like the people who are just, even if like you're just wearing a t-shirt with any presidential candidate on it, like you're just asking for it. It's
Yes.
just practice. Like either way, it's crazy, but it's pretty funny stuff.
Yeah. Now listen, you remember when you were a kid, you go through the Sears catalog?
Oh, dude, I was just talking about that with my buddy the other day. Like you couldn't wait. You're like, is that a nipple?
Yeah. JD Vance used to be into the Sears catalog, but his was the furniture section.
He's such a like. It's like it's so crazy to me that like it's like this is real life. Like on both aisles, by the way, we have a Democrat who couldn't get one vote to be a nominee like 4 fucking years ago, and now she's building $300 million in 48 hours. And then you have like JD Vance, who looks like Trump's weird kid, and Trump. JD is so weird, he makes Trump look normal. Like, I think that's what the technique was, but and people just blindly following both of them. Like, it's just like no one's getting into policies. It's just.
Oh, yeah. No, it's this guy's weird. This guy's a fruitcake. She's a ding dong. There's no substantive policy being discussed. No one's talking about what their economic plan is going to be. And we're not going to get any of that.
Any of it. It is wild. And then I think like Trump the other day had like he's going to make sure that Christians aren't prosecuted and discriminated against, which is like you say it out loud without laughing, you're just a weirdo, right? It's hilarious, right? And then it's like, well, she hates the Jewish people. And I'm like, well, it's kind of odd. Her husband's Jewish, but no one fact checks anyone, like anybody, right? Like it's. And
Did you see Trump met with the Black Journalists Association today, and it did not go well.
No, like what do you expect? Like it's like someone just got to talk to these people, but like, is this what we got? Like everyone get in a room. These are the best we have. Like this is it.
Right? Let's push the election back 6 months. Everybody go back to the drawing board. Come back with somebody better.
Hit the reset button. Like pay the president more. Like incentivize more vacations. Well, this is the problem that like the people who should be running our country don't want to do it. They don't want the job. Like they just don't want it. Like so, we're stuck with this. Like you got Dems scrambling, and you got like a circus show over here, and I don't know. People are like, what are your thoughts? And I'm like, I'm just gonna survive, man. Like at the end of the day, I live in Cromwell, Connecticut. I'm gonna be good. Like no matter what happens,
right?
Me and Joe are gonna be okay. But it's also funny though. Like I like the Daily Show. You watch the Daily Show?
Yes.
God. I think like they're just like spot on. Like just like spot on. Or like my favorite thing now is watching like Jess, my stepson, listen to his TikTok feed, and it's just all Trump stuff in his TikTok feed. So, he's just getting fed whatever presidential news from TikTok and Instagram. And then you get my wife on the other end just raging. She's like, did you read Project 2025? Yo, and they are just going like wild. And I'm just sitting there like laughing. And they're like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, it's hilarious. That's all I could do is just laugh and just tell people on this podcast, hey, you wanna survive, just don't be a dick. Right? Like
isn't that what it's all about?
It is. It's that simple in life. Just don't be a douchebag and we're gonna be okay. And if you're gonna say, like, I hate when people tell me, they're like, well, Vin, you say crazy shit all the time. I do. Like, listen, I got verbal diarrhea. I say wild shit. And then when I know it bothers you, I'm gonna say crazier shit. But I shouldn't be president. Right? Like, there's a reason why I'm not in politics and I'm not going to be president ever or a judge or anything having to do with someone's going to put a mic in my face because it's going to be fun. Right? But I don't
need reasonable.
Yeah, I don't need me in the Oval Office, dude. Like I just don't. But I just want someone who's just a normal human being. And even if you're weird in private, cool. Just pretend.
Right?
Just pretend.
Yeah, these guys just stick to answering the questions and stop going off script.
Off
None
the
of
cuff,
these people.
like
This
the
is
off the
It's a
script.
group of people that when they go off script, dude, it's like stupidity follows. It's not good. Not good.
I mean, at least when Biden was mumbling, you couldn't understand the stupid shit. Like it was just you're like, oh, that's Gramps. That's Grandpa. He's just that guy.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so I just had to touch base on that because I was at the gym today and I saw the Trump T-shirt, and the guy's a good sport about it. Like he knows it's coming, but it's just I've never seen anything like it, and it's that guy who just walks in, lats her out, and fucking Trump. And he had another T-shirt that had him like he was like the Salt King, but it was red, white, and blue. It's pretty pretty
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I give the Trumpers kudos for marketing. They know how to. I mean, those T-shirts after he got shot, they came out.
They went up quick.
Yeah, that was like it wasn't even like 7 minutes. Like people had those ready. That's how you know too, because people knew this shit was gonna happen. They were ready with T-shirts, fucking banners, bumper stickers immediately. They're like, "Told you that shit was gonna happen. Look at my T-shirt."
That's where we are, huh?
Yep, that's it. That's how we're gonna end this. So we went for a full circle before we start getting some hate comments. And
yes.
but no, I'm
Change
glad
your plans.
Yes.
CT.com. That is the website if you are interested in inquiring about some life coaching. Get a free consultation and learn a little bit more about it. Maybe you sign up. Maybe you get a life coach. I think this guy would be a great life coach. Where is he?
I'm right here. I'm right here. Listen, if you're looking for some help, just need something a little different to kind of jumpstart your day, hit me up. Free consultations, that whole bit. If not, hit us up on the podcast. Questions, tell your friends. More than happy to answer anything you guys got. And I appreciate everyone listening and tolerating us.
For Vin Provenzano, I'm Joe McGuire. We'll catch you on next week's episode of the Change of Plans podcast.